What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Rhett and Evan from the Cannon Fire Podcast, back today with another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Today we're going to try and offer some relief for some people who think this Bucs team all of a sudden cannot compete without Tom Brady at quarterback. I know the looming free agent list looks a little intimidating, but one thing is for certain: Jason Light, the Buccaneers front office, and every coach on that roster is going to do whatever they have to make sure the Buccaneers can hang on to as many guys as they can. Are we going to have to say goodbye to some players? Yes, we are. But that's what happens. You have to get younger at certain positions. You have to say goodbye to some older players. Some guys may retire. Some guys still think they might have it to end up on another NFL roster. It happens. You know what I mean? That's part of building a team. But at the end of the day, I think what we want to stress the most in this video is that the Bucs are still built to win. And regardless of what happens in free agency, regardless of what happens with the quarterback situation, the Bucs will still be winning a few games next year.
Yeah, I think part of it is they look at the schedule, and the schedule does look daunting. The schedule does look very difficult. The Bucs are going to be playing the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams next year, so they're guaranteed to be playing the Super Bowl champions and the runner-up. And they're also playing the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. So both teams, all four teams that were involved in the championship rounds. And the Bucs will also be playing the Packers, the Ravens, the Browns, Steelers. The Steelers get a quarterback. That defense is still ferocious. So, the Cardinals are in there. The Cowboys are in there. So I understand, right? I get it. But just like you said, the core is still there. Right? The core pieces. People seem to forget that, like, the Bucs were a very talented team that just needed to know how to win when they went 7-9 in 2019, right? There's a few plays here and there, and if it was, then they went 9-7 and made the playoffs. If a few plays here and there changed, right? Now I think they've been to the mountaintop. They know what it takes to get there. Everybody on this team is better now because of it. Will they lose guys? Yes, they've already lost their quarterback. Right. They're likely to lose their tight end, Rob Gronkowski. I would be pretty surprised if he's back, but like you said, they're going to bring some guys back, right? Not every single unrestricted free agent is going to leave now because Tom Brady's not the quarterback. And look, you don't go from having 13 wins minus maybe 3 or 4 players, and then all of a sudden you have 4 wins. You're still going to be competitive. Now, a lot of it does depend on, like we talked about in our quarterback options video, a lot of it depends on the quarterback that you get. If you're looking for a Teddy Bridgewater, maybe you do get 7, 8, 9 wins. But if you're looking for a Russell Wilson, 12, 13 wins is not out of the realm of possibility. So, a lot of it does depend on the quarterback, and that's a complete unknown right now. We get it. But what we're trying to say is the team doesn't just suck, right? Like the team doesn't just automatically suck. They've built this foundation. They still have those core pieces. Mike Evans ain't going nowhere. Levante David ain't going nowhere. Vita Vea ain't going nowhere. Shaq Barrett ain't going nowhere. The entire coaching staff, for the most part, Byron Leftwich still has not been hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. If he's not hired, the entire coaching staff could return. I know some people don't love the coaching staff, but the entire staff could return. The entire front office staff is back. So this is the same staff that has built this team, and I think they're capable of doing it again. This isn't a rebuild. It is truly a reload, kind of, just like Jason Light and Bruce Arians both said. So, I don't know why a lot of people are going to write the Bucs off. Will their ceiling be lower? Probably, right? I don't think you can expect 13, 14 wins next year, depending on who the quarterback most likely is going to be. But, I just have a tough time seeing this team be 5-12 or 6-13 or whatever it may be. I just have a tough time. 6-13 didn't even make sense. Can't do math, folks. I just have a tough time seeing this team struggle that much, especially with an NFC South who. You look at the Falcons, you look at the Panthers, what's going on with their situations. They're kind of in rebuild still, and the Saints just lost their head coach. So, it's not a slam dunk. They'll still be a solid team, but I think the Buccaneers, pound for pound, could be better. Not head to head, because we know that. But it's the unfortunate truth, folks. But the Bucs are still in They're in a good position though to win their division, regardless of who the quarterback is, because of that core group of players and the culture that has been built. Losing Tom Brady is a huge loss. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt. The Buccaneers will not be a better team next year than they were this year. It's just the facts. But to think that this team's done, that's just not true. And it's just that they'll prove it this fall.
We talk about the culture shift in Tampa Bay. A lot of people point to Tom Brady, but I wanted to highlight Bruce Arians as a head coach really quickly because, yeah, he has confirmed he'll be back for 2022. We know most of this regime is together, but we look back to what he had to work with in 2019. He still had the core of players that are on this team now. Shaq Barrett had his 19.5 sack season. The dude went absolutely insane. JPP was playing. You had Jameis Winston under center. 30 for 30 season. That team still went 7-9. But Bruce Arians made it clear from day one, well, two big things. One, his goal is to put a ring on the finger, and he's already done that. Two, he's here to not build, but reload, or his exact words. And obviously that's what the Bucs are going to be doing in some sort of form this offseason. But, I wanted you to kind of chime in on this one here. Why? I guess you probably can't answer this in a direct sense, but why does it feel like Bruce Arians just gets way more disrespect than the guy deserves at this point?
I don't really know. I think it might be the Tom Brady effect. A lot of it, Bill Belichick has gotten a little bit of disrespect now ever since they sort of divorced each other, right? Even when Tom Brady was with the Patriots, everybody was like, "Oh, it's Brady. Belichick does nothing." That's kind of the curse maybe of Tom Brady. Like you have such a good quarterback that any coach can do that. I don't really know. It's hard to answer. Because he had a quarterback throw 30 interceptions and they won 7 games in 2019. If he throws 10 less, 20 interceptions, that's still a lot of interceptions. But the Buccaneers are like 9-7 or 10-6 and they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure why. I think people have a lot of expectations, as they should have expectations. But I just think sometimes people look at the McVays, they look at LaFleur, they look at even an older guy like Andy Reid. They look at those, and Bruce Arians' scheme, it's not like that, and they want it to be. So I think that's why there's more criticism there. But Bruce Arians wins, so those guys win, but so does Bruce Arians. So let them guys win in their style, and Bruce Arians can win in his style.
Without a doubt, it'll be interesting to see what kind of shape this Buccaneers team is in week 1 of the 2022 season. But of course, we'll keep you updated here along the way. Thank you guys for checking out today's video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more great Buccaneers content. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those are Cannon Fire Podcast. Leave a comment down below. Give us your take on the status of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for next season. What do you think this team is going to look like? And what are your expectations at the end of the day for head coach Bruce Arians and most of his returning staff? We'll catch you in the next video. Until then, and as always, go Bucs.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers from the 48-yard line. 2nd down, 13. Brady lobs one downfield. Caught ball by Gronkowski.